Hi, this is Hugh.
Hi, Ed here, and welcome to another episode of Tone Twins TV. A really interesting episode this week, hopefully something you won't have seen before, and all down to a special friend of ours here.
Yeah, Simon Howells. Big shout out to Simon. He's a huge friend, a big supporter of this channel, has been since, before it even started, to be honest. And he has kindly provided us with the subject of this video, which is a Greco Dry Z humbucker pickup.
And they're interesting because in many circles they're seen as really good patent applied for PAF type pickups, aren't they?
Yeah, well, some people actually believe they're the best PAF replicas that were ever made, and they're fetching some serious money on Reverb and eBay and places like that these days. And when Simon was interested in getting hold of one because he'd heard such great things, and he also had this Greco guitar, so he got one, but he was never able to find a video where somebody on YouTube was demoing Dry Z pickups against real patent applied for Gibson pickups from the late 50s. So he suggested that we should do one.
So what do we know about these Dry Z pickups?
Well, there's not a huge amount of information out there, and one thing I can tell you is that they're really rare. They're far rarer than Gibson PAFs. They were made by a company called Maxon, who you might be more familiar with in the context of the original Ibanez tube screamers. But they also made pickups. Yep, nice one, Ed.
If you open up one of these, you'll actually find Maxon on the board.
Maxon is still in business and they're still making tube screamer type pedals, but they were making pickups back in the early 80s, and for 2 years Greco, in 80 and 81, Greco fitted these Dry Z pickups to the highest end guitars. So that was the EGF 1800, EGF 1200, and also the EG 1000C, which was kind of their version of a Les Paul Custom. Interesting.
So they, in their spec-wise, are they kind of ballpark spec with a PAF pickup?
Again, details are sketchy. When you look at them, they don't really look like PAFs if you're really into all your details. And they supposedly were equipped with Alnico 3 magnets. Another weird difference was the fact that they were wax potted, whereas the original PAFs weren't. But even so, they acquired this stellar reputation as being incredibly accurate PAF replicas. So basically, that's what we're going to try and find out today, how accurate these pickups really are.
So how are we going to go about testing these then, Hugh?
Well, basically we got the ideal guitar to test them in. It is a vintage Greco, 1983, so a couple of years after they stopped using Dry Zs. It's already got a set of PAFs in it, and we've only got one Dry Z, unfortunately, so we're not going to be able to demonstrate the in-between setting, but I'm going to be able to put it in the bridge and put it in the neck. One thing, if you're interested in the set of these, the screws which set the height of the pickup and attach the pickups to the ring are actually wider in diameter than the ones Gibson used to use. So if you've got a set of vintage rings or some really good repros, you will have to widen the diameter of the hole. So this one came with a ring that Simon provided for us that works in the bridge, but when I put it in the neck, I had to use a black ring that I had in my parts drawer, which I didn't mind modifying to accommodate the Dry Z. But that's actually quite good, because you can actually see quite easily which pickup is in the neck when you see the demos later on.
We'll pretend we did that deliberately.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was really interesting, actually.
Yeah, my feeling is that they definitely have PAF-like qualities, but at the same time, I'm hearing quite a bit of difference between them, notably in terms of output level, and I suppose kind of mid-range as well.
They've got I mean, in terms of the wide range of humbuckers that are available, especially today, from all the super hot to the super cool and all the rest of it, they sit in that patent applied for PAF zone tonally, don't they? They're quite a sweet pickup. Lots of the characteristics you'd want to hear, but when put under the microscope compared to the real thing, there are some differences.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue, I suppose, that, even the vintage PAFs varied considerably one to another. My feeling is the overall voicing is very PAF-like. It has very similar mid-range characteristics. It's quite airy sounding. It's not... I mean, if I was to describe it in PAF terms, I would say that they're quite kind of cool, mellow, sweet-sounding PAFs rather than the kind of more aggressive, gutsy sounding PAFs that do that kind of Billy Gibbons type thing so well. It's more of a kind of jazzy, Peter Greeny kind of tone, I would say.
Especially in context of their era, when people were fitting hot, super powerful sort of 15k distortion buckers and all these sorts of things, they would have been a real nice vintage option to compare to those sort of pickups that were out there. Again, compared to some of the things we have today, possibly there are other replicas which get even closer nowadays.
Yeah, that's the thing, really, isn't it? There's far more knowledge about how the original PAFs were made, and the competition is really stiff now. I mean, these, compare very, very favourably with, I think, high-end modern replicas, some of the best of them. But I wouldn't say they were better. And, it's worth mentioning that because these are actually fetching enormous amounts of money now second-hand. And if I bought a Greco, if I bought an EGF and it happened to have a pair of these in there, I don't think I'd be swapping them out. But at the same time, I wouldn't necessarily choose these rather than, any number of really good modern boutique-made PAF replicas.
So that's a great conclusion then. So if they're in your guitar and you're lucky enough to have some, brilliant, they're lovely pickups. Perhaps our advice would be, as you say, don't go searching for these for ridiculous costs anyway.
No, but if you find a set for a few £100, snap them up.
Brilliant. Okay. So thanks everyone for watching. We really appreciate your support. Drop us a comment in the comment section what you heard, the differences between pickups. Please do subscribe if you don't already. We've got lots more content coming soon, so take care. Diolch yn fawr.
Da bo.